Welcome to Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. Happy Friday, y'all, and welcome to Fly Nubian Money, where we help you to master your mindset and maximize your money. Today, we're diving into a story that has people talking about race, work, and opportunity. A young Black woman, Aliyah Jones, created a fake LinkedIn profile of a white woman. In just 8 months, that fake account had more recruiter interest than her real one. She called the project Corporate Catfish. But here's the kicker. Our own Yolanda Spivey ran this same experiment years ago, showing the same results. So what does this say about discrimination in the workplace? And more importantly, how can we work around it to still succeed? I have my queens here today. This is going to be a very, very good conversation. We have Yolanda Spivey, insurance broker to the stars, Minister Connie, entrepreneur, real estate investor, and author, Mary Dean Esquire at the WallStreetLawyer.com, and little old me, Laura Lalaki, your singing international real estate agent. Y'all, it's Friday. It's Friday, and it's Blackout Friday. All right, my family out there, who's still participating with us? Who's still participating with us? Because here we are in October, and we have been boycotting since early this year, like early this year. I'm still down. I do not shop at those places that we don't normally shop at. But we know that some people don't have any other place to shop. But on Fridays, we do Blackout Fridays. We only shop with small businesses within our own community, and we spend no money at the ones who don't appreciate us. So let us know if you're still participating in Blackout Friday. Listen, ladies, I want to ask you, I mean, I have been in this situation before where you go in and you try to find jobs and things of that nature, and then you feel like they're biased. I mean, at some point, people were saying, put your pictures on resumes, and then they changed their minds and said, don't do that because now that could be biased. I want to ask you guys, have you ever had any issues with obtaining jobs and you feel like it was because of who you are? And I'm going to start with you, Minister Connie. Have you ever felt like you've been shut out of a position because of you being you?
Yes, I worked corporate America for about 40 years. And I tell you what, it is not a good place to be. Yeah, you're either overqualified or underqualified. And the thing is that a lot of people said I was overqualified for a lot of things. So sometimes you just got to catch and grab what you could get, because I did that. I had to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
I have to be very honest. I think a lot of time I fool people, so they don't really know, like I said, till I open my mouth. And I do get the interest because they don't look like they perceive our culture is supposed to look like.
right.
Mary, how about you? Have you ever felt like you went for a position and you were shut out because of you being you?
I don't know how to answer that. I guess maybe, I just feel like people do business with people that they know, like, and trust. And that's always been the case. And so I understand if someone wants to hire someone that looks like them, or that they feel more comfortable with, or that they have more camaraderie with. Because if I'm hiring and a sister walked through my door, if I feel like she's my sister, I'm going to pick her over someone who looks like, who I have nothing in relation with, right? Nothing in common with. Someone who I don't want to be their friend. Why would I want to work with them? And so I
Right.
guess I understand it. I don't care. I guess it is what it is. And I've always expected it to be that way. I don't think what has changed.
Right. What has changed? Yolanda, I'm actually going to hold that question off for you because you are our expert at this today because you have done this experiment yourself and we want to hear your story about it. But first, I want us to go ahead and look at this young lady's video and then we'll come back and get back into this conversation.
What happens when a black woman pretends to be white on LinkedIn? Aaliyah Jones, a 26-year-old marketing strategist and content creator from the DMV, found out the hard way, and now she's raising money to turn her story into a documentary. After months of job hunting with no luck, Aaliyah created a fake profile as a white woman. The result? Recruiters flooded her fake account with interviews while her real profile was ignored. She called the experiment corporate catfish and says this shows that racial bias is alive and well in corporate hiring. Despite studying for interviews, traveling city to city, and making it to final rounds, she was continually dismissed. Meanwhile, her fake white profile was seen as more professional and corporate. Aaliyah's story went viral, sparking hundreds of people to share similar experiences. Now, she's crowdfunding to expand corporate catfish into a full-length documentary called Being Black in Corporate. The film promises to shine a light on the code switching, microaggressions, and emotional labor black professionals endure in the workplace. Her original Kickstarter campaign raised over $11,000, but she says she didn't reach her goal of $50,000 due to racial attacks on the fundraising platform. Now she's working towards her ultimate goal in phases, aiming to raise another $10,000 within the next few weeks. She says this project is about telling our stories, raw, real, and on our own terms.
That's good.
So it's a real thing. I actually have another friend who did this as well, but she did it with a white man. And she still had the same outcome. And the job was based on DEI, helping companies, hire diversity. And she still had the same output, not her, but that fake white man got it every time. Now, Yolanda, we've heard her story, but I would love for you to share your journey and your experience with this as well, because you've actually done this.
Yes. Yes, I did. Goodness. I called it the Bianca White experiment. So basically, couldn't find a job just like her, was submitting, resumes to different insurance companies. Now, you guys know I'm the insurance broker to the stars now. Okay. So, anywho, I noticed that I couldn't find a job. So I created a fake profile of a white woman. I named myself Bianca White. Now, this is the difference between me and Aaliyah's. Is her name Aaliyah?
I believe so, yes.
The difference between our experiment is this. When I submitted my resumes, it was through a platform called monster.com. And Monster need to be put on blast. And they also probably need to be sued too. So if there's a lawyer out there, call me. So I submitted my resume on Monster. Monster had this diversity questionnaire on their system where in order for you to apply for the job, you had to select what race you were. So under my profile, I kept selecting I was Black because I'm proud to be Black. I'm like Black, 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 every time I submitted a resume. And I'm like, what? Why? No one's calling me back. That's weird. So I created the fake profile. I listed everything the same. My resume was identical to my personal resume. The only thing that changed was the name, Bianca White. That was it. So when I made the resume live on Monster, I started applying for the same jobs I was applying for too. I was doing everything simultaneously. And the only difference is I was selecting I was a white woman. When I did that, can I tell you how many people called me for interviews? Now, this is the thing. Some people called under Yolanda, but they were only offering like little sales jobs, commission only jobs. But for Bianca, they wanted to fly this hoe out, okay? They wanted to fly her out to different states for these high position jobs that I felt like the resume didn't qualify for. But they were so impressed with that resume, they were willing to bend over backwards to have this fake fictitious profile get flown out. And I'm like, yo, if this is not racism, like it just was so shocking. So I said, Yolanda, what do you do with this? Now, at the time, I could have done more like this young lady did. I really could have. But I was a young mom. My son was only 6. I just didn't have the time. I was stressed out. My bills needed to be paid. I just didn't have the time to really go further. So what I did was I wrote about it. I put everything in a article. My good friend Calvin, he has like different websites. He published it on his website, but then Dr. Boyce Watkins read it. And that's how me and Dr. Boyce got linked up, because he called me. He said, is this real? And I said, yes. And he posted it on his platform, and the story just took off. And then I shared my story around the world. Even to this day, college campuses use my experiment for case studies in their courses. So yeah, everybody's asking, hey, did this young lady hear about you? I'm pretty sure she did, because my story went viral. Okay. They still talk about my story to this day. To this day, people still ask me about that story. So in a nutshell, yeah, that fake fictitious profile as a white woman got so many job offers. My profile didn't get hardly any, not viable job offers.
Yeah, you said the bites that you did get gave you tidbits of a job.
Commission only jobs. They were offering her salaries in the 6 figures. And this is during a time when the economy was really, really bad and people were being underpaid. But they liked her so much, they were willing to fly this girl out.
Yeah. It blows my mind, because in this administration, the top goal is to get rid of anything that is what they call woke, DEI. However, the people that we have in up there serving now are absolutely non-qualified for everything they do. Right. But these things were put into place so that everybody would have an opportunity to get a job. But there are ways around that, as you can see with these experiments. Yolanda, thank you so much for sharing that with us. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we will be right back.
Woo! It's a good show right here. But I'm biased. If you are just tuning in, you are watching Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. My name is Tiara Williams. I'm also known as Miss Black Hollywood, and I'm the proud producer of this show because it is lit. If you want to receive notifications for when we go live Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All you have to do is text the word Queens to 87948. That's Queens to 87948. That's QUEENS to 87948. Also, if you want to grow your money and not blow your money, all you have to do is go to flynubianmoney.com. There's all kinds of resources, there's courses, there's free giveaways. There's just no reason to be broke in 2025. All you have to do is go to flynubianmoney.com. Obviously, you don't want to be entertained here. You want to know enough to grow. Wait, I need to put that on a shirt. You got to know to grow. Got to know to grow. So know and grow with flynubianmoney.com.
Listen, we are talking about reality today. It's so easy for the world to say, pull yourself up by your bootstraps and all of those things, but we cannot ignore that there are biases against us and also other people, because we also can bring into the fact that, I know for a fact, being at 280 pounds, I lost jobs. I had somebody walk into my real estate office one time, and it was the brand new girl who had only just got her license, and she was skinny and cute. And I was 280 pounds and experienced for 12 years, and the person chose her. So there are definitely biases within our cultures. Somebody's always going to find something about that. But I would love to hear your thoughts about this, Minister Connie. How do you think this impacts confidence for our young Black professionals who are entering the workforce right now?
Yeah, it would be something that will stun their confidence and their growth. I know I worked at a bank and I applied for a job that I was qualified for, and another person of color applied, and she got the job. And I went and I asked her, the person that hired her, why she was picked over me when I had accounting and all these other things, and she didn't have anything. And so she says, well, I think she was more qualified. And I said, well, tell me why. She could not give me why she thought she was more qualified. Now, being in corporate for 40 years, I decided to create my own job. So I worked at a technical school, and I was a career advisor for all men. All men went there, and when I got there, there was 3 people in my department. I worked so hard in that department because if you did not perform, you lost your job. Well, I worked them out of their jobs, and they were Caucasian, and I ran the whole school. Now they didn't give me an increase, no raise or anything, but what I found out is that I had the ability to run a whole technical school by myself. And I was the only one in my department. And I'm talking about I had to do reports for crediting and everything. And I said, oh, wow, I learned something about myself. So everything we have, we could use it for the good. I started my business right from there. I started it right working at that technical school. And I said, wow. So that's how I seen what I had in me. Sometimes you got to look beyond the job and say, wow, I could do this and create your own. So here I am now, 27 years in business. So yeah. So
Wow.
sometimes
Wow.
you just
Wow.
get so many disappointments over and over again. And I said, I know I'm educated. I know I'm gifted, so believe in yourself and just see all the little things, all the little jobs that you was able to do well and say, maybe I could create my own, like Yolanda did,
Exactly.
like you did, and Mary, we are all, you know, probably had jobs being biased. Well, Mary, she hasn't so much had been estranged to that, but it's okay because everybody got different paths and stuff, and it's good. I love what she said, that she really has not really experienced that side of things. Maybe it's because she's just been so blessed.
Well, go. I know you got something to say, Mary. We can't hear you. Unmute yourself.
Yeah.
Glad I muted so I didn't cut anybody off. But God, protecting everybody on here with me today. No, it's not that I won't say I haven't experienced it. It's just that, I'm an optimist and I always have been. And so I guess I just never expected my enemies to love me and coddle me. I didn't have a mother. I was raised by a man, a Marine.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm built different. Okay. Yeah. I don't expect people to coddle me and give me things because no one has ever coddled me, ever. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so because I'm not expecting it, it doesn't make me feel any type of way. Mm-hmm. Right. I've had to get it out the mud from day one. I wanted 6 figures when I started working in a nonprofit company as a lawyer, and they said, baby, we can't give you 6 figures, but you can practice on the side. So I have my entire legal career had a job in a business. I've always moved like that. Mm-hmm. And so eventually the training wheels fall off and you no longer need the job. Mm-hmm. And so I consider that a blessing. And I think that's why do we have the illusion that they are looking out for our best interest to begin with? Mm-hmm. Job has never been, job has always stood for just over broke, just enough to get by. They're not going to give you money to get rich. They're not financing your dreams. They don't care about you. So why have we even looked at that as this is my saving grace? Especially in our times. We're not in our dad's generation where he got pensions and multiple retirements. We don't have that. I never had that luxury laid out for me. And so everything I have to get, I've had to always get it out the mud. And so that's why that is so strong. I think we handicap ourselves following that illusion that the American dream, someone else is going to give me my American dream. And so when you stay there for 10, 20 years, then realize, oh my goodness, they're not giving me my American dream. What do I do now? Now you're 30, 40, trying to figure out what else to do. When I think the rich people are training their children from yay high to be business owners, to be shot callers. And, and when and it is widespread knowledge that people hire, people work with, people do business with people that they know, that they like, and that they trust, right? So start a business and hire your own family.
Yeah.
Hire your own.
Yeah, it's not that simple, but I will say this. You're absolutely correct, Mary, as far as, these kids just growing up and just going right into like the corporate structure. And it all has to do with schooling, is how they were schooled. School is a pipeline to the corporate plantation. That's it. All right. They're teaching these kids how to get jobs, not to own anything. They do not teach entrepreneurship in schools at all. And yeah, the private schools, they do. Because yes, those little white kids that go to those private schools are taught to be owners and bosses and things of that nature. I had one of my good friends. He's a college professor. He went to a private school, and that's what they taught them. They taught them how to own businesses. That's it, or how to be a boss. So yeah, and something that Minister Connie said that really stuck to me about using your skill sets and put it into your own job or your own company. That's what I did to create my company. I said, wait a minute, when I was on that corporate plantation doing insurance, I had made those companies millions upon millions of dollars. People was rolling into that office just to see me. And further, I was so good that my reviews were always stellar. Stellar reviews were only like a 5-cent raise at the end, right? And I said, Yolanda, you can do it yourself. The same thing that you gave them, give it to your company. And that's just what I did. I used all my skill sets, everything that I've learned, and I put it into my company. And here we are. Fly as hell.
Well, it's interesting. You all bring up a good point. Listen, we know that everything starts in the home.
It does.
Everything starts in the home.
And can I tell you, Lola, I come from a family of entrepreneurs. I don't mean to cut you off, but I come from a family of entrepreneurs. But yet still, my mother encouraged me to get a job.
Same.
What the
Same.
what? Like when I think about that
most of us
now,
are told to get these girl, get you a good government job.
Good job. Yeah. And I'm like, wait a minute, but I come from, you're an entrepreneur. I should have been, and I told her after I created my business and it became successful, I said, I should have done what you did all along. Work for myself or try to like create a lane for myself. Because my mother can't sit in a corporate office. Why does she want me sitting in a corporate office? And I see it's because of how it looks, so she can brag to her friend, oh, my daughter got this, it's how it looks. That's
true. It's true. But it all starts in the home. We do have some stats. Y'all know I love some stats. So let's check out a couple of stats and then we'll get back into the conversation. Black job applicants are 50% less likely to get a callback compared to white applicants with identical resumes. And that's from the National Bureau of Economic Research. And studies show that applicants with ethnic sounding names get 33% fewer callbacks than those with white sounding names. Y'all, that's crazy. Black workers make up about 13% of the U.S. labor force, yet consistently face higher unemployment rates. In August 2025, just a couple of months ago, y'all, Black unemployment was 7.5% compared to 3.5% for white workers. Listen, I know, Mary, you are always a positive person, but I am going to have to say we are under attack, especially Black women. They are the ones that are getting fired the most and the fastest in our government right now. So we need to also be aware of these biases and come at it with the best plan that we can. Yes, you can work a corporate job and also have a side hustle. And I also think that when you work those corporate jobs, when you do get them, you can leverage those into your new business. So even if you can get your foot in the door, sometimes it's worth it just for the connection. We're going to take a quick commercial and get right back into this. We'll be right back.
I know You're busy, you got things to do, and you can't take us on the go with you every single day. Good news for you. We are now on Spotify. So if you can't watch us, now you can listen to us on Spotify. Search Fly Nubian Money and all the episodes shall appear. All you have to do is like, subscribe, leave a 5-star rating, leave some comments, tell people how you love us so that when other people come along and are looking for a great show to watch, they can find Fly Nubian Money too. One last thing, and just in case you've been sitting under a rock, Fly Nubian Money now has an investment club. We are the Fly Nubian Money Club. It's easy. All you have to do is go to flynubianmoneyclub.com, and I am committed to bringing in top experts from all industries to help you level up. They're teaching us the skills that we need to compete in this market. We often say that nobody is coming to save us, not the government, but guess what? We're coming to save us. I'm coming to save you with the Fly Nubian Money Club. So listen, all you have to do again is go to flynubianmoneyclub.com. We have a 30-day free trial set up just for you, just for those people that are struggling. Even if you ain't struggling, you ain't got to struggle. I'm coming. Okay, let me stop playing. I'll see you soon.
Ladies and gentlemen, we do have a class tomorrow, and it's going to be estate planning 101. You still have time to get in on that. Please go and sign up at flynubianmoneyclub.com. Get in on that so that you can help to build your wealth. Listen, I do want to acknowledge some of our beautiful people out here. You know, we done nothing if we ain't got y'all watching, and we love you. We appreciate you being here. Black Lexicon said, part of what she said is bars. Any job or career should be viewed as a stepping stone to entrepreneurship or independence. Incog also said something that was very interesting. Sometimes the hiring manager is younger and whiter, and the presence is deemed a threat to their existence. Then we have Lorraine, who said, we have to also be careful, even with our own. I went to a job fair yesterday. For the most part, everyone I encountered was welcoming, respectful, and nice, Black, white, and otherwise. And we are definitely not saying that this is always the case, but we also do realize that there is also an issue that we need to be aware of. So Yolanda, when you went through that, I want to ask you this. How can our young Black professionals, or any of our Black professionals, strategically present themselves without code switching? Because code switching is a real thing.
I code switched. I was so happy when I started working for myself because I was able to just not do that. You know, code switching, for me, it stripped a part of my soul away. I can't be who I am. I have to sound and act Caucasian in order to fit into that world. So this is the thing, Lala. How can we teach the young people to, there's no way. They're just going to have to code switch. I hate to say, because if they are themselves, they may risk not excelling on the corporate plantation. So this is what I suggest that they do. I suggest that all young people, go into corporate. It's the best stomping ground to get all your experience. You get to experience people, you get to experience life, you get to experience how processes work. You get to experience so many things. So go in there, code switch, do what you have to do if that's what you want to do. Okay. And just get as much information as you can and take it with you elsewhere. That's it. You know,
I've done it. I've had to change the voice on the phone. You know, when people are calling, change the voice on the phone, be able to switch right back into it once I'm done. It's actually something that I don't think anybody ever teaches us that. I think we just know that we have to.
We just know we have to do it, right? Because no one teaches you to go into corporate and code switch. You just automatically know that you have to be a different person when you get there. I'm telling you, it strips a part of your freaking soul. So you're telling me I can't talk this way, because I have to appease these people. It hurts. It really hurts. But let me tell you what feels good. It feels good to talk this way, servicing anybody that walks into your doors because they know you're going to do a good job for them. They don't care how you talk. They don't care how you look. They don't care about anything. All they care about is that you do a good job for them. That feels awesome. When my white clients come in, I don't go switch on them. They hear Yolanda talking. Okay.
Yep.
They get this.
No white
They
trust.
love me because they know I'm going to give them a good rate. They know I'm going to do a good job for them, and they know I'm going to take care of them. That's that at the end of the day. I can't do that in corporate. I can't do that. I have to do that here. So
You have to people,
that's right. Go into corporate, get your experience, get everything, soak up all that knowledge. You're a sponge, okay? Get everything and then take it where you are loved. Take it where you're loved.
I love that. Take it where you are loved. We have another video that we want to share with you. Let's check this out and get back into the conversation.
When is there going to be a Netflix documentary about the epidemic that is plaguing the job market called corporate catfishing? I just got off the phone with a friend who has started yet another job that advertised one thing and turns out to be something completely different. And it brought up a lot of restless feelings for me because I personally, and I mean, let me know if I'm alone in this in the comments, but every single job, okay, and I mean every single one that I've ever had has straight up lied about what's really involved in the role. And truthfully, that's why I started my own business and why I'm such an advocate for side hustles, because I was so fed up of being duped. Like on paper, they're charming. They tell you everything you want to hear: dynamic role, growth opportunities, flexible culture. It's basically the LinkedIn version of I'm 6 foot, got a good sense of humor, and know how to cook. And you swipe right every damn time, okay? And then you meet them in real life and it's given jump scare. But as I've grown older and I've matured, I've realized that corporate catfishing only works if you believe in the perfect job, as if it's some sort of soulmate. And girl, we are too old to still be believing in fairy tales. Because the reality is, some jobs are just short flings that teach you what you don't want. Some are long-term situationships you outgrow, and some just straight up disasters that you're better off ghosting, okay? And the truth is, the system won't change until you do. You know what they say, don't hate the player, hate the game, which means the only way out of corporate catfishing is to stop playing for validation and start playing for leverage. You need to treat your job like it's the sugar daddy, okay? Take what you need, the salary, the skills, the contracts. Use it to experiment with your exit plans, whether that be a business or investments, and then bounce when it stops giving. Your job doesn't define you, it funds you. And when you see it that way, trust me, you're going to stop chasing fairy tales and start building freedom.
That's right.
I absolutely love chasing.
That's right, baby. That's right.
Stop chasing the fairy tales. Minister Connie, you know, I loved everything that she said about that. But I want to ask you this question. We know this. It seems like we're all on the same page here, including our viewership audience. But do you think that recruiters are even aware that they are being biased?
I don't think they are aware of it because they really don't know what the job entails. Okay. So they're going to paint a really pretty picture about the job because they really don't know. They're only going off of what the job description says. You know, I hire Caucasians. I hire anybody that is qualified for a job. So, and I understand what Mary had said. When you walk in the door, I am more comfortable working in my office with people of color than with Caucasian. I have hired them in the office, and I tell you what, there was always a problem where one said that I was stealing government money. I was like, and I had to get a lawyer and everything. So from that I had a bad experience with the office manager that I hired to work for me, and she was only with me 90 days. It was always something, but when she said that and she left. And that's the reason why she claimed that she wanted unemployment because I was doing unethical things in my business.
Wow.
And I wanted, because I went with a lawyer, I was lawyered up, you know. So the thing is that it was just a blatant lie. And I was like, where did she get this information from? So I can understand wanting to have a certain kind of people around you because one thing I would tell people, Caucasians will steal your business, Black folks will steal your money. That might be biased too. Being in business for all these years, I know that's what I see, because we had somebody that was trying to undercut us on our business also. So, I have dealt on both sides, but yeah. But one of the things I want to say is that you take everything you need and learn it. Because the one good thing about corporate, they will teach you systems. They will teach you systems. They will teach you things that you would not get from being an entrepreneur. So yes, go out and get a corporate job and learn all those things, and see where your skill set sit, because they will do a job description, a job performance on you, and tell you, well, you need to increase this and this, and they will provide sometimes this skill set that you would need to learn. They will provide the training for you. So yes, go and do that and just grab it all up, so you could have an exit strategy to go and do your own thing. So that was really, really good. My granddaughter's mother, she works in corporate with a light company here in Pennsylvania. And I told her, I said, dress professionally, talk proper. And I said, you will go a long way. And exactly what I told her is that, because she never worked corporate, from that point on, she went from making like 50,000. She's up like near 100,000 because of her grooming herself to look professional. Don't go in there just being, well, I'm going to be me, because you can't be you in that environment. Know your environment. Yeah. Know your environment.
As I say, read the room. Yeah, read the room.
Know your environment, because the thing is, most of the time, and the time I was in corporate, I was the only Black person in the room. Mm-hmm. So I had to represent. I had to come in there suited up. That's all I had in my closets was suits, heels, the jewelry, this everything. So you gotta know what you're doing and be on top of things. Do a little research when you have a meeting, because they're going to call on you to see if you're smart or you're stupid. Somebody asked me one time, how do you spell wave? You know how you wave something? She said, do you spell it WAVE? I said, no. Why would you ask me that? And I spelled it for her. She said, oh, I just wanted to know if you knew how to spell it. She said, because somebody over in the next cubicle don't know how to spell wave. I was like, wow.
And it's some of the smaller things like that we do see in these positions that we have to be aware of. Go ahead, Yolanda.
Yeah.
I can't hear you.
I disagree a little bit with what Minister Connie said, only slightly, about because the question you asked was, do these recruiters know what they're doing? Yes, they do, without a doubt. They know what they are doing. So a part of the reason why I started the Bianca White experiment when I had did it was because I was sitting in one of the last class, because I decided to go back to school. Before I did the experiment, I had lost my job. Okay. So I said, let me go back to school and finish up my bachelor's degree. On one of the last classes that I was sitting in, I was still sending out job applications and everything. I met a young lady. Now I was an older woman in school. I'm like 32. Everybody else is like 22. I met a young lady. Her and I became friends. And she said, yo, I just got a job. I'm like, where? She said a major sporting league. I'm not going to say which one. I said, oh my God, how did you get a job there? She said, I just went in for the interview. I applied to be a receptionist, but the girl there liked her so much that she offered her another position, a higher position. Now, why is this so significant? One, because this girl never worked a day in her life. Okay. She even told me, she said, I never had a job in my life. She didn't even have her degree yet. We were all working towards our degree. Okay. But yet she was able to get a job higher than the receptionist job she had originally applied for. Why? Because the recruiter liked her. They bonded. Of course, the recruiter was white. All right. So that also made me do the experiment in the first place, because I'm like, how did she just get in and get a job? Because I know if my black ass would have went in there and, with all the experience, the working experience I had, and at the time I had an associate's degree only, I know they would not have hired me. They would have told me I needed a bachelor's, I needed this experience, I need this, I need that. You know what I'm saying? But no, she had the complexion for the freaking protection. Okay. And they hooked her up. I said, there's something flawed in the system. I bet you they're giving white girl jobs, because all my white friends had jobs. All my black friends didn't, including myself. So that's why
very much a part of your world.
these recruiters know what they are doing. They are purposely giving jobs to white people because they're going to look out for their own people. That's what they do.
Listen, we all here are saying that, that entrepreneurship is the way to go. And I don't want everybody to get the impression that that's an easy path either. It is not. It's hard work to become your own boss. It's very hard work. So I would love to hear from our viewership audience, our family. Do you feel that entrepreneurship is a solution when corporates keep closing the doors? I would love to hear what you guys have to say. We've been talking about it, but I would love to hear what your thoughts are on that. We got a couple of more stats. Let's check these out. Only 3% of Fortune 500 CEOs are Black, underscoring the lack of representation at the top. A Glassdoor study reveals 76% of job seekers and employees report discrimination at work based on race, gender, or identity. And why do they go after all of these? Well, they go after those because the majority of the time it is us. But we also have to be very realistic. Who benefits the most from DEI programs is white women. We're going to take this commercial break and we'll be right back.
Hello, my name is Dr. Sabrina Edmond Williams. I am a life and legacy planning strategist and the author of Learning to Trust, the Black Family's Guide for Building, Protecting, and Transferring Wealth. I'm partnering with Fly Nubian Money to teach you how to secure, protect, and properly transfer your money. On October the 4th, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and just in time for Estate Planning Awareness Month, I'll be hosting a powerful workshop where you'll learn how to create an estate plan that keeps your family out of probate court and out of family conflict. You'll learn the steps to protect your assets and make sure your wishes are honored. And you'll learn how to build generational wealth that lasts long after you're gone. Don't wait until it's too late. Join us inside the Fly Nubian Money Club and take control of your financial future today. See you there.
Yolanda Spivey is a Black woman. She was unemployed 2 years. She applied to over 300 open jobs in insurance, which is where she worked for 10 years, definitely her area of expertise and experience. She did not get a single response. She went back to college, finished her degree, applied again, wasn't getting any responses to the jobs she applied to on Monster.com. So Monster has a diversity questionnaire, which asks you about your race. You can decline to disclose that. And they say it will not jeopardize your chances of getting a job. It's just kind of for informational purposes. You can't skip the question, but you can say decline to identify. So Yolanda Spivey thought maybe that's hurting me. She goes into her Monster.com profile and she changes it to decline to identify. Isn't hearing back from anybody. She thinks of another idea. She goes back in, she creates a fake applicant named Bianca White, fills in the identical employment history, identical resume, identical education as her real self, Yolanda Spivey. Changes the phone number from her home phone to her cell phone so that it can't be linked back to her original profile. And then she puts white on the diversity questionnaire. Phone call, same day. Emails, packed, same day. She gets a whole bunch of job offers in the field of insurance. In 1 week, she received 9 phone calls as Bianca White and none as African-American Yolanda Spivey. And she received 7 emails as Bianca White and only 2 as Yolanda Spivey. Both were for commission-only positions that required her to move out of state. Now, what do you think about this?
And them streets are busy, busy, busy. Now, Mary, I do want to ask you this because we are talking about, places like that are online, LinkedIn and Monster and all those places. How can technology like a blind resume help level the playing field? Because if you have put up something that is an alias to you, if they do come calling, are you kind of stuck with that? Does this even level the playing field, or does this just prove our point?
I think it just proves our point, because eventually you got to go in there in person, right? Or an interview. Eventually they find out who you really are. And so it's kind of like, and I don't care if you do, in real life catfish, no one is going to just like you for your personality if they have a bias that they're going to use. And so when they see you and see the real you can't hide behind, well, we had good conversation over the phone before we met. It doesn't go like that. People are who they are in the world. And so I think it just proves the point. But I just, and Yolanda said something, and it felt like a knife in my chest when she said, it's not that easy, and about entrepreneurship. And, and then I looked around me on the live at all of the Black female entrepreneurs. And so, and then I was reminded that the words that you speak carry so much power. And so if you say it's not easy, then it's not. If you say it easy, then it is. And that's the power you have behind prayer. Every single word you speak carries the power of creation with it. So I just, yes, we say it's good to see these stats, but I don't know about reminding myself of all of the obstacles that I'm facing is such a powerful way to move through the world, right? It's not how I've moved through the world. And so when y'all really make me sit here and think about it, I can go back through my 20 years of being a lawyer, and yes, I should have been here. Yes. But that, how does that benefit me? And how does that benefit you all? And it would not have benefited me if I stayed in that place back then. And so I just want to, remind you guys of the power of your thoughts, your speaking. They buried us in the dirt. They did not know we were seeds. Black women are the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs. Every time they moved the yardstick, we got, at first you needed degrees. We are the highest, most degreed everywhere. We've got degrees in our hair, degrees on ornament. We were sleeping on that. We have so many of the qualifications. And so they buried us in the dirt. They did not know we were seeds. Forbes said that Black women are the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs. And so I want to be mindful that we get caught up in the wanting to beg massa for an opportunity to work his field when we thrived the most during segregation. These mom and pop stores finance lifestyles and families and generations, and don't get away from that. All you really need to do is learn how to master your relationship with God, master your language and your perspective, and learn how to sell something, and then get to busy.
Go ahead, Yolanda.
So just to, okay. So what I meant by when I said it's not that easy, I wasn't saying that entrepreneurship itself wasn't that easy. I'm talking about being a business owner. For some people, is not easy. Some people are not cut out to be business owners. Everybody on this world is different. Okay. So with that, listen. So with that being said, there are workers and there are creators. You know what I'm saying? And this is what makes the world go around. That's what I meant by it's not that easy. Being a business owner, just like wanting to be a business owner, is not that. Not everybody is cut out for it. I remember somebody opened up their business and she just was not cut out for being a business owner. She said, I just rather work, and so she closed down her business. There are people like that. And then as far as what you say, yes, we Black women are the number one in job creation and things of that nature. Most of my business encompasses nothing but Black business owners, Black woman business owners. I'll say about 50% of my business is nothing but Black women business owners, and they employ other Black women. So yeah, we're doing it. And that right there too, ladies, I feel is the answer to our plight out of this. We either sink or we swim. Okay. We either sink or we swim. So swimming is creating. Swimming is like, doing what we have to do to stay above that water. So yeah.
Well, I understand. Go ahead.
I don't mean to diminish anybody's position. I think that if you would have looked at me 20 years ago, I was also that woman that said, I don't want this job. I just want to work for somebody else. I was that too.
Yeah, so was I, Mary. I said one thing I said to myself, when I was younger, I remember being 18, 19. I'm like, I'll never do a sales position. Selling sucks. What the freak am I doing right now? Okay, insurance sales. That's how I make my money. So yeah, like my mind had like it reinvented itself, of course. But yeah, there's what I said I would never do is what I'm doing right now. So yeah.
And I just want to say I'm proud of us and I'm proud of you all. And I don't want to get so I'm not begging for a seat at their table.
Nope, neither am I. Neither am I.
Yes, your life and your path will direct you to those opportunities. But when you don't have one, you create it. When the front door is closed, you go through the back. You go through the side. You focus on the sun. You do what you got to do. You pray. You meditate. You ask a friend. You link up. You go work with someone. If you're not a builder, you go find a builder and you support a builder. But I know there are businesses, the systems. What I know is that we are rising in power, and there is nothing that can stop that.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Yeah, they're taking our jobs here in the United States. A lot of Black women, I think it was like over 300,000 so far have lost their jobs in the corporate structure. That is a freaking lot. But watch what's going to happen because they did that to us. Watch what the fuck Black women is going to do. Black women, we do not sink. We do not sink.
We definitely. You want to talk about resilient? That's what we've always been.
I'm on this live with 3 resilient women.
Yes, we are very resilient.
See,
watch what's going to happen. I feel sorry,
but I do want to get back to
it. I do
want to center it back a little bit, ladies, because yes, we know because we're all entrepreneurs on here. But I know women that do love being in a corporate job. It doesn't have to be government or whatever, but I do know them. So Minister Connie, for those who choose that path, maybe just like the entrepreneurship is not for everyone, but what responsibility do these companies have to address their biases in their hiring? Because we see that DEI is now out the door.
It's so funny that, I work with government money and funding and from the federal and state, and we had to come up with a training for people that are of different sex. They want to be another sex. Okay, I'll put it that way. So we had to come up with a training because when we send somebody in a home, and if a man is dressed like a woman, we had to be able to, deal with that. So we couldn't be biased. But the thing is that they don't put it in the corporate world. The government don't say, well, they do say it, but do some of the companies that are getting government money and grants, do they really put not being biased, a biased workplace in the corporate America? I don't think so, because it's there, it's blatant, and what do you do when is this there? So the thing is that I'm with Mary. Favor, when you got favor from God, he will open up doors and put you anywhere you need to be. And the other thing is that we need to, the ones that have been in corporate America, just teach our girls, our young women and our young ladies what to do. Like I just said, my granddaughter's mother, when she got the job, I told her how to navigate through that. And we need to teach them that until they are ready to come out. She's very educated. She's very smart. She's growing in leaps and bounds. Making almost $100,000 is not that bad. Really, it isn't. So that's where she's comfortable. She's raising her daughter, and that's where she's at. And so until she's
but you're saying mentorship is really important, and it is. It starts in our homes.
In our homes.
It starts in our homes.
Right.
We have another video. I want to check this video out before we move on. Let's check this out, and then we'll have our final thoughts.
Oh, here we go again. So I went undercover as a white woman on LinkedIn for 8 months on the job search, and it went viral on TikTok, and it went crazy, and now everybody want a movie, but this is what's going on. I'm fighting for my freaking life, and this is the scoop. Oh my God, I haven't done this in a minute. Update. So for those of you that don't know, my name is Aaliyah Jones, and I had went undercover like 100 months ago as a LinkedIn catfish as a white woman, and I documented it, and it kind of went crazy viral and crazy on TikTok and everywhere, and I was featured all over the world. Like, it was a lot. I was getting harassed, I was getting shown love, and it was a lot going on. And then all of a sudden, everybody was like, we need a documentary, we need a documentary, we need a documentary. And I was like, all right, I'll give you guys a documentary, because I've been hearing a lot of y'all stories. My story was just a mirror for everybody else's story that has been Black in corporate spaces. So I was like, you know what? Let me do this for y'all. I made a Kickstarter to raise money to help produce this story. I went live, I think like last month ago, and I raised a couple dollars within like 24 hours. And then we ran into a little issue. Oh, the issue was I did not know people could take their money back. And I was like, what the heck is going on? Like, I was pre-celebrating, like, oh my God, we made 2K, And then next day I wake up and it's $10, and I was like, oh my God, people hate my guts for this story. I was like, oof. That kind of really like dampened on my parade, because I didn't know Kickstarter was like that. I didn't know people could readjust their pledges or just do it out of spite, and I was.
Long story short, guys, she ended up complaining to the platform Kickstarter and letting them know what was going on, and they actually elevated her story to now it is a Netflix documentary that is out there. So I have to say, shout out to Kickstarter for kicking in and saying, you know what, no, we're going to raise this even more and put it in on their first of their page. Listen, we all understand that we have struggles every single day. How we do that is by teaching our children in our own homes what to expect and how to do things. And you can do it at age appropriate. It doesn't matter, but teach them what you know, be the good mentor that you should be for our next generations. It is now time for our final thoughts. And everybody was so spirited today. I normally try to ask a question of each of you all. But what I would like for you to do is to give us your best advice for these young people who are looking to make a career out of corporate, and how they can possibly get around these biases. And I'll start with you, Mary.
Well, I think I'm gonna take a little advice from Yolanda when she said you have to code switch. And if you want to play with them, then you need to learn how to speak their language, communicate with them, and have camaraderie with them. I will say that there is something to that. I've never been one of those to do that, but if that's what you want to do, you might want to be good at that. The other thing that I will say, that for those of us that want to actually work in their corporate structures, remember that the law is on your side. You do have the ability to have the law on your side. This is America, land of the free, as I do my finger quotes. And so I said that to say that make sure you document everything, because if you're discriminated against on race and you have the evidence to be able to prove that, remember, you may be able to get rich on a lawsuit on the back end. So document everything. Remember, the law is on your side, and you are in America, and you is free. I am Mary Dean Esquire at thewallstreetlawyer.com. If you want to find me, you can find me at the Wall Street Lawyer on all social media. You can also find me at blackwallstreet.com, DOTCOM. And happy Friday, y'all.
Happy Friday, everybody. You know what to do. Please make sure that you go and you follow Mary. You go to her website. She has always got knowledge, and she's always the positive, uplifting force. And sometimes you just need that in your day. Okay. Minister Connie, what is your best advice for those who do want to be in the corporate world and are finding these biases? And then please tell us where we can find you.
Yes, I say documentation, documentation, like Mary said. Even if you don't have no issue, do documentation of what you do every day and daily, because sometimes you may have to go back to defend yourself on an issue that you don't even know that is brewing. I would say for all of us that want to be in corporate America, Learn the language, dress, present yourself well. And because they're going to look at that, they look at everything. Present yourself well. But favor is not fear. Just pray. Ask the Lord to give you favor, because I have had favors in jobs, position, even where I'm at today, a lot of favor. So just pray, and take everything you learn and use it, and know what your abilities are. You can reach me at ConnieSpearman.com. I have a book out for all the struggles that people go through in life. It's called Lord, I Hear You. And I have also journaling. You can journal with that book that you read. A very easy read. So, yes, reach out and buy it.
Absolutely love that. And Minister Connie always has good advice. And especially, she's got this entrepreneur thing down. So I am sure that you can learn a lot from her. Please make sure that you do go buy her book as well, because we uplift one another here as well as out here in your viewership land. Yolanda, I saved you for last, because if you ask me, my love, I really wish they would have contacted you for this documentary. But hey, listen, we really appreciate what you've shared with us. What is your advice for those who may not be interested in the entrepreneurial part, but do want to live in that corporate world? Can't hear you. Can't hear you, Yolanda.
Well, sorry about that. Before I answer that, they did contact me to do a story. I turned it down because I did not like the offer. All money is not good money. And it was my story to tell. They were trying to make it something that it wasn't. So I think my time will come when the right opportunity will present itself. But as far as with the young people who do want to play the corporate game, remember, you're playing a game. So go in, know what to expect. And like we said before, if you have to code switch to get what you want, that's what you do. You play the game to get what you want, to leverage, to absorb all the information that you need, because trust and believe there will be a time when you will get tired of playing the game. And you can take all that experience and use it to your better good, and use it for just for your future. I don't really see anything wrong with corporate, if as far as how you make money. It's a good learning plantation. It's a good plantation to go to learn. So again, go there, learn as much as you can, but do not get sucked up in it. Do not let it change who you are as a person. Just take what they say, eat the meat and spit the bones out when you're on that plantation. Anyway, I'm Yolanda Spivey. I am a insurance broker. I'm a broker to the stars and to you too, everybody. But you can reach me across all platforms. Yolanda Spivey, just look me up. My website is mwhitney.com, mwhitney.com. If you need any type of insurance for anything, give me a call. If you own a business, especially, please give me a call. I can help you out. Again, like Lala, like for me to say, we can insure your pinky toe if you want your pinky toe insured. So give me a call. I got you.
And you know what to do now. You have your assignment. Please make sure that you reach out to Yolanda, because she knows her stuff, right? And you can tell when you walk in her office or get her on the phone, she is someone that you are going to know, like, and trust. All right. Listen, here's my thing. There is bias in absolutely everything that we do. How we combat that is within our homes. You have to start with young minds. You can guide the young minds very early. Make sure that everything that you do is to help them in the best way possible, so that they can present themselves in the best way possible. I have code switched in my life. It makes me very uncomfortable. I don't like it. I don't like the fact that I have to go into one door one way and be one way, and then leave that door and then be another. That's not for me. But there are people who do find happiness in corporate and then find happiness in entrepreneurship. It's your decision to make, but be able to put your tool belt on with whatever you need in order to make it either way. I am Laura Key. I help you to master your mind and your money in ways of real estate. Guys, if you're interested in purchasing a home, whether it's in the States or abroad, it is one of the ways that you can combat how things are going in the States. Owning a piece of land helps you to build your wealth. So please go to my website, laurakey.net. I have lots of free resources there for you. Listen, we're winding up 2025. Why don't you get ready to kick off 2026 with success? Listen, ladies, we've had so many comments today. You know, I love to shout out our people on Fridays. We had Black Lexicon, we had Terry, we had Armando, we had Anonymous, we had Lorraine who shared her story with us today. We had Incog, we had Armando. We love you and we appreciate you. Double A, we're here all the time, right? We appreciate you. Always coming with your bright B1 every time, and we appreciate you so much. Listen, what Elia uncovered with corporate catfish is something Yolanda proved years ago. Bias is real, and it's built into the system. But just because the system is flawed doesn't mean we stop. We adapt, we strategize, and we build our own doors when others won't open theirs. At Fly Nubian Money, we're committed to these conversations because your talent, your skills, and your brilliance deserves to be seen. Happy Friday, y'all. I hope you have a beautiful and lovely weekend and you go and touch grass a little bit. We'll see you here on Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace out. Be blessed.